listeners and Dave. March is upon us, man.
Yep, it is.
Well, thanks everyone for joining us for the March installment of the 12-minute Modelsphere. I think I want to start off this month, Dave, with getting caught up on all our show supporters because I kind of sloughed off at the end of the last episode due to not being so well prepared.
They are all important people, so I would encourage you to do that.
So those missed last time were Cody Kaczynski, Eddie Compton, Robert Hallinger, Paul Gloucester, Don Gilman, and Clement Pudanson. And folks, thanks for all the support via Patreon or PayPal. It's helping us bring you content. I hope it's great. You tell us.
Yep. I want to say thank you too, guys. Appreciate it a whole lot.
Well, now that list is caught up. Well, Dave, let's take the usual path now and get into where we've been and where we're going. I know you just went to a show up in Ohio. What's the hot take on that?
Well, you were missed. Skippy was there with me since you couldn't meet us and go. So he substituted in for you at the table. Unfortunately, I didn't have any recording equipment with me, so I wasn't able to record any segments, but a lot of the listeners stopped by, got to pass out some Mojo stickers, got to talk with a number of listeners. And special thanks to Ian Bonner, who stopped by the table with a gift that was super generous. And so Ian, I appreciate that. Had a nice conversation with Tyler Artis. Jeff Groves was there, so we got to have a good long talk with Jeff and what he's working on. He showed me a photograph. He's gone down the Barry Numeric route. He's doing one of his batch builds of 12 ME109s. And Columbus show was good. It was the first time at this venue, which is, believe it or not, a wedding venue. Plenty of room, very well lit. Vendor room was full, mostly of folks selling off collections or the occasional internet seller, not as well represented by traditional brick and mortars or manufacturers or anything like that. But it was good, and I sure as heck found a way to spend some money. It's a nice drive up and back, exactly 3 hours, and they're going to hold it in the same place next year. In fact, I was talking to Ben Pluth, who also got to see, and he was telling me that they've booked it for this year and for next year. So next year it is definitely going to be at the same place. Maybe you can make the show and you can see the venue as well.
Well, I'm glad you had a good time. And speaking of drives, let's get into where we're going to be in March, Dave. We're going to be in the Great White North in Hamilton, Ontario at Heritage Con 15.
Yep. And it maps out to be about a 9-hour and change drive. We're gonna leave dark 30 on Saturday morning, so we should get up there hopefully late afternoon, early evening, unless we get stopped at the border or something. And I'm looking forward to it. I'm telling you, I haven't been back to Canada. I think the last time technically I was in Canada was for the last Canadian Nationals in Ottawa in 92 or 94. I forget when it was, but I don't think I've been back to Canada since then.
Well, I'm sure looking forward. I put in for the vacation day today, so that should be no problem.
See, I had already done that.
I tell you, I'm thankful to our Canadian friends up there, the Ottawa boys in particular, for setting up our accommodations. That's going to be fun. We're going to be offsite at a Airbnb. It's going to be a good time.
Yes, it is. I exchanged some emails with Steve Hustad, and he tells me that he and Mr. Copeland are coming. So looking forward to seeing them there. And of course, as you mentioned, all the Ottawa boys are driving down. And then, we talked to the Heritage Con folks last episode, and they were very, very welcoming. So I'm looking forward to going up there and interacting and seeing a museum that I've never seen before.
Oh, same. And then on the podcast front, that's Stu Clark and the Scale Model Podcast stomping ground. So
yep.
I'm sure they'll be set up, and we got something planned with those guys. And then Darren D-Ran from the Model Geeks podcast is going to be up there as well. So
yeah, he said I think he's tying it into a vacation or something. So I'm looking forward to seeing him.
So that's not bad for podcast representation across the border.
Nope, not at all.
Well, speaking of episodes and podcasts, Dave, March, despite being a long month at 31 days, we've got 2 episodes. And I think folks are going to enjoy both of them.
I'm looking forward to both of them, I'll tell you that.
Well, episode 85, Dave, is going to be the return of Dr. Strangebrush. And we're going to be talking about the topic of scribing, techniques and tools, how Dr. Strangebrush does it. And we can hopefully learn something. That's kind of an intimidating thing for me, really.
Well, I will tell you that it is one of the things that I am convinced, especially with aircraft modeling, makes or breaks a model. And so I am also looking forward to having his perspective. It's been a while since we've talked to him, and so it's nice to have him back on the Mojo. And that's going to be a good conversation because I'll be looking forward to his insights on this.
And then for episode 86, Dave, we got our favorite retired rocket scientist coming back, Mr. Ed Baroth. And Ed kind of ventured out from single subject modeling into a vignette, and he's going to have some insightful things to say about engineers versus artists and what he learned from that experience. And it's kind of a conversation we've been wanting to have at some level for a while now. And
you and I have both expressed opinions to each other on this, and we've returned to the topic, I don't know, at least half a dozen times over the last couple of years. So I will be interested to get his perspective.
Well, I am too, and look forward to that one a lot because, like you just said, we've got some opinions about this, about things like innate talent, and if everybody can do it to a certain level or not. And it's just a really interesting conversation.
It is.
Well, that's where we're going. That's where we've been, and that's what we got coming up in March as far as episodes go. Dave, we've also got some activity over on the dojo.
Yes, we do. We've been we're over 1,800 people now on the dojo. In fact, I was watching today. I happened to be working from home and was watching. I think we got like 4 or 5 new members on the dojo on Facebook. If you're one of those people who does Facebook, and I understand people who don't particularly like it, but there is, if you're a modeler, I do believe it's worth being on it and putting up with it. You know, you don't have to engage in all that other stuff, but there's so much modeling talent out there. It's a great way to share work. If you're listening to this and you are not on the dojo, if you haven't asked to join, please go. Just search out Plastic Model Dojo, and that's 3 separate words, and make a request to join, and we'll get you admitted. By the way, if you're a listener and you asked and you were rejected, please reach out with a DM. We've had that happen once or twice due to a fat finger or hitting the wrong button. So if that happens to you, please just reach out. We'll get you into the dojo. And man, there has been a lot of good stuff on the dojo lately.
Yeah, there's a couple of those folks we need to talk about getting on here, man.
Yes, absolutely. There's some people doing some really interesting stuff, and I'd kind of like to talk to them about their work. We've got our phones in our hands all the time. If you're standing in line at the grocery store or whatever, that's the time, instead of wasting time on Twitter or doing something else, that I'll go to the dojo and I'll just take a look at the last 5 or 10 posts or comments, and there's always something that I find engaging, worthwhile. So we're still getting 10 or more posts every single day, people posting work. I'll occasionally post a picture of what I cooked for dinner on Friday night. And you know what, the conversations, even not that ones that wander off into non-modeling, are always really pretty darn interesting.
Well, folks, Keep it up. Be active on the dojo. We got several calls to action here I want to go through. Listener mail. We love it. Tell us where you're from. Give us a city and a state, or a country and a city, wherever you're from. You can send us listener mail to plasticmodelmojo@gmail.com, or you can direct message us through the Facebook messaging system. A couple other things. We're trying to ratchet up for another installment of the Wheel of Accidental Wisdom in the future. If you've got some topics you'd like to throw on the wheel and have us and our third chair guest for that episode tackle, send them in along with listener mail or direct message, however you want to do it. For this long trip we've got coming up to Hamilton, Ontario, if you're going to be at HeritageCon, coming from, I don't know, where'd you come from, Dave? You come from Central Michigan, Upper Pennsylvania,
Chicago, Buffalo,
Western New York.
Yeah.
I'm thinking more of the closer people. Let us know if you're going to be there ahead of time. That'd be great. And then we'll figure something out about hopefully meeting up with some of you folks.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm looking forward to that. And one of the nice things is, because HeritageCon's a little bit of a stretch for us, I'm hoping to see some of the listeners that, we don't see here at shows in Region 4 or over in Region 3 next to us. So it'll be nice to be someplace a little farther afield where maybe we'll, kind of like the Nationals, where we get to interact with people that otherwise you wouldn't see even at a show close to us.
Well, we can't forget all the Canadian listeners either, but I think we got a pretty good handle on which one of those are going to be there that we know personally. And I'm sure most of those folks there in the Ottawa area in general are going to be at that show. So looking forward to it.
Absolutely, man.
All right, Dave. Well, you know what they say.
So many kids.
So little time, man. Take it easy.
Got it.